Today we welcome Dr. Michele Scott Taylor, who is Chief Program Officer at College Now, Greater Cleveland. There, she works hard to ensure that College Now's programming reflects the best in class thinking and is on the cutting edge of work in college access and success. In short, she is one fierce advocate for her kids. She teaches at the undergraduate and graduate levels at John Carroll and at Cleveland State. She previously taught at Baldwin Wallace and at Walsh University. She has spent most of her career in higher education administration in both student and academic affairs. And as if that isn't enough, she's also an entrepreneur. She is CEO and principal of Global Learning Solutions, a consulting firm she founded to promote cultural competency, program evaluation, program and proposal development, and grant writing to small businesses and nonprofits. And she gives back. She serves on a number of boards and most recently was appointed by County Executive Armin Budish to the board of Cuyahoga Arts and Culture. And she gets awards. She has been recognized by Cleveland Magazine as one to watch, a YWCA Woman of Professional Excellence, and a Kaleidoscope 40 Under 40. She's nationally recognized, having been invited to testify before the United States Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions in 2019. She is the proud mother of three and an alum of Leadership Cleveland 2017, and a soon-to-be alum of LC2 2020. Michele, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing your words.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you to all of you who have registered. I really appreciate seeing friendly faces. Thank you to my friends and colleagues who are joining, and hopefully I do us well. And I told a couple of people to text me if I missed something, so make sure you do that. You know who you are out there. I would be remiss if I did not first say that I, along with many millions of people across the country, would like to see justice brought for Breonna Taylor. So I just want to start off by saying that we would like for the state of Kentucky to please bring justice to the tragic killing of Breonna Taylor. So I am here today to talk about what College Now has been doing as it relates to COVID and how we are trying to continuously help our students and families and our partners navigate through this very trying period. I'm going to talk very candidly, if that's okay with you. I do have some notes that I will refer to, but I don't have like a prepared speech because I'm hoping we can just kind of engage in a conversation. So March 13th, it seemed like the world came to an end. Essentially, the very work that we do every single day came to an immediate halt when we were told that schools will no longer be in session. Immediately, we didn't know what to think or what to do, because what we do at College Now is we provide staff members who supplement and complement school counselors in about 80 different school districts across Northeast Ohio, helping students and families navigate what to do around their post-secondary education. And when we say post-secondary, we mean any formal education after high school, whether that's a certificate, a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, PhD, and everything in between. So being that we do that in schools and in community-based organizations, we were really put to the test in terms of how do we now deliver these programs and services to students and families when we're no longer in the school building. So what I want to do is kind of talk about what we did in kind of 4 areas. What we did as an organization, in operations, what we did for our staff, and ultimately how we thought about serving students and families and what is our way moving forward. So I hope that framework kind of helps you. It helps me organize kind of what I want to share. So as an organization, the first thing we had to figure out is what do we do with our staff who, unlike many organizations, we were committed to ensuring that we would not let anyone go, because the work that we do is too important, even more so now that students were losing a connection to a person they had been used to seeing every day. So we were committed to not laying off any staff members, furloughing, anything like that. But what it meant is to revise what the work was, because if our work is mostly in person, face-to-face, how do we create meaningful engagement opportunities with our staff and students so that we are doing the business of what we're supposed to do, and we're being fiscally responsible in a time when many organizations had to cut staff, lay people off, and you all know what has happened for many of our organizations. The work so that what we do can still be accomplished remotely. And at first we were using terms like tele-advising, which has its own set of connotations. Who just call you salespeople or those telemarketers. And so changing the mindset of our staff to understand that, yes, while we are virtual, the work that we do, we still must make it personalized and personal. So there was a lot of culture shifting we had to do about our work, because as you may know, many people who come with us, they want to save the world, they want to save youth, and they want to make sure that education is a pathway for students and families who typically don't have access to that. And then for our families that do have access, how do they make more meaningful decisions about what to do after high school? So we have a staff that's extroverted, super in your face, and pulling kids down the hall and pulling kids out of class and meeting in the cafeteria. It was a big challenge for our staff to kind of just be in our little computer boxes talking to students remotely. One of the other major challenges that we faced was that contact information for students changes a lot. And so a lot of the phone numbers and contact information we had for students and families wasn't always updated. Teams trying to find ways to work with community partners in the school districts we serve to get updated information. So what has come out of COVID in terms of operations is a major push with our marketing development team about messaging so that we can ensure that we have correct, up-to-date information and that families know how to reach out to us. So that was on the operations side. So operationally, we had to do a lot around messaging and the benefits of COVID is that we really are revamping our messaging and ways that we reach families and students using social media. And hopefully many of our partners out there, you are doing the same thing. And I think we can share a lot of good practices around how to engage students and families. Okay. All right. As it relates to our staff members, we had to do lots and lots of retraining on how to use technology. We have a broad range of staff members, anywhere from 20-year-olds who just graduated from college to 70, 75-year-olds where this work is their second and third careers. They are retired teachers and superintendents who just love working with young people. So there was a major learning.
All right, Michelle, if you can hear us, at this point you froze up. I think we might be having a Wi-Fi issue.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I don't know, it may be lunchtime, who knows? So there's been lots of training on how to use tools to help us advise students. Some of those tools include Zoom, Teams, Google Classroom, Mentimeter, Poly Everywhere. Been a huge lift for us. In fact, we started training yesterday or on Monday, and for 4 weeks, we're going to be training staff on how to use all the digital tools that are now required to do our work. If I can just share a few minutes of some of our stats during COVID. So up until May, we served 4,000 students online remote, providing college access services. So we really did not slow down because we quickly pivoted and created ways in which that we can still do the work that we needed to do, especially for seniors who were getting ready to graduate high school and needed to finish up some of those last items in order to move off to college. We spent about 6,000 hours in advising, which is unheard of in an online environment because, again, one of our biggest barriers was reaching out to students and having updated contact information. So moving forward, again, right now we are trying to build the capacity of our team to use the technology. We are also doing a lot around trauma and stress because like many of you, we are stressed out as just human beings. And so a lot of our staff were taking on burdens that were really not a part of the job because students were struggling in this online environment, especially when it came to online education. So we're providing a lot of social service support to our team, using our employee assistance program to ensure that not only are we supporting students and families, but we're also supporting our staff who is also experiencing trauma from this COVID epidemic. And I think with that, I might go ahead and close and open it up for questions. Could you please talk more about any volunteer opportunities with College Now? Absolutely. So many of you know we have a very robust mentoring program for students who are going off to college. And these mentors, they stay with college students throughout their 4 years. It's a really easy lift though. We use an online platform where we match you with students, and twice a month, you'll get a prompt from us that asks you to talk to your student about certain topics that might be of importance at that time of the year. So a good example would be when school starts in September, one of the first prompts might be, ask your mentee, do they have all of their books? And if your mentee says no, we provide you resources to share with your mentee so that they can at least have all their books to start with. So that's our major volunteer effort is through our mentoring program. But we also have AmeriCorps members, and while it's not truly just a volunteer, it's a service opportunity. And so we have members come every single year, and they serve with us for 10 months, and they help us serve students in schools and community-based organizations. All right, the next question. When will College Now advisors be able to interact again in person, and what tools and lessons from this virtual time will you continue to employ? Thank you so much. One of the biggest things that we did and that we've learned was successful is hosting centralized online workshops. So typically we have advisors in schools and they deal with their students in their school. In this environment though, what we realized is that College Now as a central office can repeat events that are open into our entire footprint. And so we are creating a calendar where anybody, anywhere can sign up and come to workshops and key events that address all the issues along the college access path. You just don't have to be in a high school to be able to really engage in our services. So that's one major takeaway from this COVID experience. When do we think advisors will be in person again? We are hoping that as soon as school opens, we will be back in schools. Our mantra since the beginning of this was that if schools are open, we will be there, similar to like teachers and school counselors. So as soon as schools open up, we plan to be right back in the schools. In the meantime, we're going to be working with our school districts to see if there are other opportunities where we can meet students in person at community organizations that might still be open, of course, adhering to all the policies related to safety and the like. Question, what fears are students and families expressing? Thank you, Rachel, for that question. Students don't know what to do, okay? They don't know if they should take the chance and go off to college and live in the dorms like a traditional, what you do when you go to college, or should they stay home and maybe perhaps go to community college where they can save money because they don't want to spend the money for tuition at a four-year institution that's online. Our advice is generally around, make sure you know the implications of whatever decision you make. Because if you signed up to go to a four-year institution, there's a good chance that there's financial aid tied to you being a freshman student at that campus. And if you decide not to go to that campus, there's a chance that you can jeopardize some financial aid that might be available to you in the year's future. You'd be considered a transfer student, not a first-time, full-time freshman. So while we don't want to tell people what to do, what I'm hoping and what we're advising families is make sure your student learns how to be an online learner, because that looks like that's going to be the reality moving forward, whether we're in full COVID or not, because some of that is the fear. I'm not good at learning online. That looks like that's going to be a part of our future in every way, shape, or form. So how can we help students become better online learners is something that we need to work on. And then the other fear that parents express is their child or themselves being ill, you know, getting the virus, and how do we manage for that? So those are two of the bigger questions that we're facing. What to do I go, do I stay home? And then how do I keep myself safe when I'm with a bunch of college students who sometimes don't make the best decisions? The youth is wasted on the youth, I think is the saying. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Okay, and this is what types of tools are available to parents to help them and their kids? Thank you for that question. So we are still open. We never really closed. So of course, any student or family can call our offices and we will connect you to one of our advisors who can help you walk through the process. So we're still a tool and a vehicle to help. Other things that we often refer students to is the college or the institution a student might be interested in. But I think your best line of defense, however, is to call us and set up some time so we can kind of get a good picture of what you're looking to do and direct you in the right places. Because to be quite honest, there are tons of tools that you can use, and we don't want you wasting your time kind of fiddling through that when you can just talk to us and we can help you figure it out. If you are a school district that uses Naviance, though, that is a good tool to use. It's a college and career planning tool, and it allows you to do a lot of things on your own that's a little bit more self-paced and asynchronous that can help you get started on your post-secondary planning and path. How does College Now work with Say Yes, and how has the pandemic impacted Say Yes services? So our main contribution to the work that's being done with Say Yes is that we manage the scholarship process. So with Say Yes, there is social services that are delivered in schools, and then there's this college piece that will provide tuition scholarship dollars to students. We manage that scholarship process administratively, and then we also our advising team works with students to help them think through which schools should they consider because they accept the Say Yes scholarship. So it's a Say Yes higher education institution. The pandemic has impacted us in that over the summer, we host summer scholarship meetings with students to make sure they understand their financial aid award, their financial aid package, and how Say Yes plays into it. With the pandemic, we are once again challenged in getting in touch with students so that we can have these meetings with them so that they're prepared to go to school in August. So the pandemic really did slow down what normally would be a robust summer of meetings with families and students to make sure their financial aid and their entire package is ready to go and that they're ready to go to school in August. So that's been the biggest hurdle, but we are still serving students. And in fact, we worked with a number of community partners to help us outreach to students so that they knew that they needed to meet with us in order to secure their scholarship. All right, pre-COVID, I think I remember you going to California. Yes, honestly, okay, that's my friend June. Last year, today, I was in Silicon Valley with a bunch of kids from Warrensville Heights High School, and we were at Google. I'm actually gonna post that picture. And this morning when I saw it, it dawned on me that I can't even take kids to go see the world, which is what I love to do. So I have a whole big picture with a bunch of kids, and we're standing in front of the Google sign, and we met the Google folks, and we rode the Google bikes, and we ate the Google food, and they loved it. So June's question is, what was that program, and are you looking to get back those types of experiences? Absolutely. So at College Now, with our development team, and I think my friend Steph is here, my coworker, we write grants to the Department of Education. We write grants everywhere. And one year we decided to write a grant to ask that we take students on experiences where they're exposed to various careers that they may never hear about, but they are associated with things kids know. So that particular trip, we took kids to Google, Facebook, Instagram, like all the things they're into to see what goes behind working at Instagram, since you're on Instagram all day. And so I'm absolutely hoping that soon we'll be able to do more experiences like that, taking kids to places they don't even know that are real places. When they saw that Facebook sign on Facebook Way, it was like mind-blowing. Like, that is a real company, you guys. That's just not on the internet. And so hoping to keep doing those kinds of experiences, taking them to all kinds of places. Last thing I'll say, this summer we wanted to actually take them to the Nike Museum that I think is in Minnesota. It's somewhere out west where they have the LeBron building, the Michael Jordan building. We wanted to take them to Microsoft in Seattle. So we were gonna do a wild, wild west trip, but yeah, we didn't. So I'm hoping to do that. All right, what is your geographic footprint? So we are in 80 different school districts, but geographically we're in like 5 counties if we look at our students as well as our adult learner program, which we also have. So we're in Lake, Medina, Summit, Lorain, Cuyahoga. Oh, Laurel, you're nodding. I think I'm okay. Was that 5? I don't know. We're everywhere. But we also have a statewide presence because of our AmeriCorps program and because of a partnership we have with the Ohio Department of Education, where we host a program called Gear Up, and that's across the entire state. All right, as you look at your role with strategy and best practice, oh, what is the vision? Okay, my vision is that every single kid and adult has more information about what they love, what they're good at, where is that needed in the world, and how do I get there? That is ultimately what I'm looking to do, because I feel like lots of us go to college, have no idea what we're doing there. Lots of us leave college and we're not doing what we went to college to do. And so I'm hoping starting earlier, think through what it is they'd like to do as their vocation, not necessarily job, but at least in the realm of what it is they like to do and what they're good at, so that when they go off to post-secondary, they have more engaging experiences because it's a little bit more target and focused, if that makes sense. So that's my vision. And especially for students of color, students from low-income backgrounds, and students who have traditionally been left behind in our education, in our higher education system. That is my vision. I think we have a couple of more, and then I'll look to you, Rachel, to wrap up. Okay, on the policy front, are there any big issues that College Now is currently doing advocacy to on behalf of students? Well, yes. So I think Marianne mentioned that last year I was asked to testify in front of a Senate committee around the Pell Grant and the financial aid, the FAFSA form, if any of you remember that, because it is an arduous task for students to navigate how to even access financial aid that's eligible to them. So we are always advocating for making changes to the FAFSA form to make it easier. We are also advocating to increase the Pell Grant, which was a grant established to help students across the country access higher education. So those are our 2 biggies. We are also doing advocacy work around student loan forgiveness and working with the state attorney's office to kind of put a pause on doing collections or seeking collections on student loan debt. You know, we get into the cycle of when families get into that student loan debt, it's quickly put as a collection item on a person's credit. So we're doing some advocacy around that work too. Oh, thank you. Nike is in Oregon. I knew it was somewhere out west. Yes, and it's considered a museum, I know. So I would love to be able to take kids there. If any of you, when COVID is over, please call me if you have any connections, because we really like to talk to real people who work there, not just kind of their tourist people. Okay, I think there's one more question here. How can the community support College Now? Thank you, thank you. You can support us by telling people about us, that we're still here. We're still here to help any person, any student, family, adult looking to figure out how to have a life beyond what they currently have, if that's what they want, either after high school or if they want to retool, get a new job, get some new skills. We can help anybody do that, no matter where they come from, what they look like, how much they make. We do that for everyone. Join our mentoring program, please. Become a mentor. There is very little criteria except that you've gone to college, because that's what we're helping people do, finish college, any age, anything. So please sign up to be a mentor. It's really a light lift and we'd love to have you. And then continue to invite us to things where we can share more about what we're doing, because we're trying to get the word out that we are here to help people figure out their lives, and we're here to increase the economic vitality of our region through educational attainment. So with that, I am going to stop, and I apologize again for my technology. I don't know. I hope you all heard me. Thank you so much, Rachel. I don't know if I can hear you, but I will try to read your lips.
Well, Michele, if you can't hear me, I put read the chat box. Hopefully you get to see that. So everyone, thank you. And Michele, thank you for all you're doing and for College Now and for the flexibility on the call today. We are very appreciative of all of the work. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Marianne.
Thanks so much, Rachel and Michelle. I will follow up with you later because I know you can't hear me, but your passion is unbelievable. I think you must have a steady diet of it every day. So thank you for all that you're doing to help our kids and to challenge us to be right there in that journey with you. Thank you. So applause so she can see it.